Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at Mara Holdings. It is time for another update, and on this chart we have a rather simpler structure because we only have a single wave to the upside complete from the all-time low, which is where we begin our count. Now there is some pressure to the downside still, but nothing too substantial, not an initial 5-wave move that we have, strongly suggesting to us that we should expect continuation to even lower prices. But at the same time, while I could be tracking this as an initial 5-wave move to the upside, I could be looking at this to be only a 3-wave pattern just as well, so we don't get the benefit from the initial 5-wave move to the upside. High probabilities of suggesting that after a 3-wave correction into our area of support, we would expect continuation of the trend within at least another 5-wave move to the upside. Now, this doesn't mean we cannot consider such a possibility. In fact, I am looking for even a potential larger 5-wave pattern in both scenarios to be working out, but really only as long as we hold our area of support. We are tracking for this wave 2 correction, which so far is doing fine, just fine, at the levels between the $10.5 all the way down to the $1.1. Now, the thing is, since we don't have a clear initial 5-wave move to the upside, it would probably be for the best to identify within a smaller time frame an initial 5-wave move to the upside to be able to reliably track continuation of the trend. And unfortunately, this hasn't happened yet, This is not the case at the moment because in this push to the upside, we only have a 3-wave movement once again. So we have a couple of options. We could be looking for a reset here in the yellow structure where a wave C would be expected to unfold instead and form a reset of this wave 2 in white. Or we could be looking for something like a wave A in this area, part of a larger wave 3 within a larger leading diagonal. Well, for this scenario, the wave 1 would have been a 3-wave pattern. We could be looking at an A, B, C structure to be taking place, where a more substantial top could form sooner rather than later. But it's really just an idea that we are tracking at the moment. There is no strong evidence that we should expect this wave 3 to actually take place. At least not at the moment, because I cannot identify an initial 5-wave move to the upside, and since we don't have it within this time frame, we would have to look in a smaller time frame for an initial 5-wave move to the upside. Now, in either case, we have an internal area of support we can track for continuation to higher prices, here at the levels between the $13.7 all the way down to the $5.2. And if we don't manage to hold this area of support, it is very likely this wave C in yellow, this yellow structure, is going to extend to even lower prices. Now, I won't be leaving here this internal area of support on the chart because we don't have a high probability of a reversal from this area, and instead I would probably prefer that we have a reset within the wave C and have another attempt to form an initial 5-wave move to the upside within a larger structure. If we identify within the smaller time frame one, sure, we could start looking for it once again, but at the moment, I would focus on this yellow structure where I'm looking still for continuation to lower prices because I'm tracking an ending diagonal within this wave C. Now, if we are to look for the ideal target for the wave C, we would be watching here the 100% extension of the wave A. This sits right around the 78.6% retracement, the last level of support, a bit above it at the $1.3 level. Although keep in mind, this is an ideal target and it doesn't need to get there. Now, if we are to assume that this wave 3 has formed the bottom, I would even find it difficult to reach those levels, but within the structure that we have built in this area, it really has only followed our expectations so far, and it seems to be on the right track to completing a 5-wave move within this area, and sometimes the wave C doesn't even go beyond where the wave A ended. It could be the case for this chart for this to happen. Now, in the smaller time frame in the previous video, we have even provided an internal area of resistance, firstly for extensions of this wave 3, but we also had this large area of resistance for a potential bottom already being in place for the wave 3. and we have pushed basically into our area of resistance. We have broken the internal levels of resistance for continuation to the downside within this as a wave 3. But yeah, we have pushed into resistance in this wave 4 and we have extended within another low in this area. At this point, I might prefer that we actually get another low within this wave 5 to have a more clearly complete structure, because we have been tracking this idea of an impulse, but if we don't get it, it can still work out as a complete structure. Now, be aware, there are extensions possible within this structure and we will be discussing more about them in a moment, but before that, I wanted to briefly mention our channel newsletter where you get access to our monthly top picks where we identify for you those high quality structures. The link for sign up is in the description. It is completely free, but if you enjoy our content and you want to support us, you can check out our channel membership. The link for that is in the description as well, or you can click the join button, and by joining, you will even get access to additional content. If you want to learn more about the membership and the newsletter, you can check out our channel update video. It's on the channel page, but for now, let's go back to the chart. So here, firstly, this wave C is being tracked as an ending diagonal. So we would have already reached the ideal target for the wave C because it would have been at the 100% extension of the wave A. Yeah, we have just surpassed that with this latest push to the downside. But at the same time, within this internal wave C, I could be looking for several ways to extend to even lower prices. I could be looking for this to unfold as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, multiple ways really within an ending diagonal most likely, because the internal structures within this area do not seem to have clear impulses within them. So I would be cautious, because from the larger time frame perspective, if this really is forming a wave C in the yellow structure to the downside, we would be looking for much further continuation to lower prices. Now, based on the internal count, I could be looking for a bottom to be in place within this wave 3, but even then, I would still be looking for at least another low before I would consider a more clearly substantial bottom to be in place, courtesy of having a full count. So, at this point, what I would focus on primarily is here a larger area of resistance for this larger wave 4, yeah? This is once again assuming we have a bottom in place for this wave 3, so I would be watching the 61.8% retracement at the $17. I would actually need to break this for a strong indication that a more substantial bottom is in place within this wave 2 in white, and by doing this we will very likely break the yellow structure as well. And otherwise, what we could do without breaking the area of resistance would be here to create an initial 5-wave move to the upside that would allow us to look for a 3-wave correction and continuation within at least another 5-wave move to the upside. That could also be interesting, but as of now, the risk is substantial, and sure, we would be looking to push a little higher within this wave 4 correction, at least to the $9.6 level, but I believe we are still within a high risk area. Now, I wanted to also provide you an internal area of resistance for different counts that would allow us to extend to lower prices. Now, firstly, even within this wave 5 in yellow, I might actually prefer to form another low before considering a bottom is in place within this structure, and I would consider an ending diagonal to be forming within this wave 5 of this larger impulse, so I would be watching the levels between the $7.5 all the way up to the $9 level. And in this case, we would have pushed already into the 50% retracement. And based on this structure, I have to say, if we form another high, I already find it likely that we will not extend to lower prices within this wave directly. But I wanted to provide you an alternative scenario, which is what will remain here on the chart, where I would consider this to potentially unfold as an A-B-C pattern that would allow a strong extension of this movement to the downside. That could actually be quite severe, and ideally we would break this area of resistance that, let's say, we will be tracking in green up to the $10.3 level for a strong indication that this structure, that this wave 3 is already complete. Now, for a complete invalidation, we would need to see a break above the wave 4 top, yeah, around the $11.5. But for now, these are the levels I'm watching. This is what I want to see broken for the signal that this wave to the downside is complete. And once again, if the structure will be suggesting that a wave 2 bottom could be in place within this white structure, we will be tracking such a scenario, but at this point, it isn't a high probability interpretation for me. Nothing is really suggesting this, and the pressure remains still for continuation to lower prices. And for now, these are the levels, this is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And also, don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and maybe even check out our channel membership if you enjoy our channel and you want to support us. But for now, this is it. Have a nice day, and bye bye.